Yes, it's so wonderful to see trade buzz picking up before the March 7th trade deadline. It is still 2 months away, but and again, it just feels like there's more rumors and there's more trade rumors this year than at least definitely last year, in my opinion. Now, we do know that Pierre LeBrun has mentioned a Montreal Canadiens player. Actually, he's mentioned the Montreal Canadiens a bunch of times, but he specifically has mentioned Jake Evans as a player that's been popping up recently. Now, to be completely fair to the Montreal Canadiens, they've actually been low-key kind of impressive lately. I completely wrote this team off. Before the season, I was actually an advocate. I didn't think that they were going to make the playoffs, but I looked at their roster with, Suzuki, Caulfield, Laine. Unfortunately, we know Laine got injured. I looked at them and I was like, I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but I think they're going to be able to score a little bit. I think that they're going to be sniffing around it, and then they're ultimately probably going to miss. Now, that still very well could happen. I just do think it's interesting that they certainly do seem to have made a little bit of a push here. I mean, currently, they beat the Capitals today, by the way, and they're only actually 2 points behind the Bruins, and the Bruins are kind of flailing lately, and they have 3 games in hand. This is not impossible that they could sneak in. Let's give Montreal Canadiens a little bit of respect here. I'm not convinced they're going to make the playoffs yet. I'm still on the side of they'll probably still miss, but hey, man, please jump back to this video and clown on me if I'm wrong. I have no problem with that. Now, Jake Evans is a player that has been named in trade rumors, and he's actually having a pretty darn good season. 10 goals and 13 assists, 23 points in 41 games. Now, the cherry on the top is that he is a centerman. In my opinion, his growth as a two-way player has actually been pretty impressive. So I want to give it a shout out because of that. And I'm telling you right now, as a centerman, you just have to be able to play defense. You got to come down low. You got to do what you got to do. So his growth in that regard has been excellent. Now, he is going to be an upcoming unrestricted free agency, which obviously for a, quote, rebuilding team in Montreal is going to be a trade chip, quote unquote. Doesn't mean he has to be, but we're going to go over that. Now, I'm not sure if you have to do this, but we'll go over that. But again, he is a center. You have to remember how valuable they are. So I do think the Montreal Canadiens need to be a little bit careful here. And he's only getting paid $1.7 million. He's outperforming his contract right now for sure. So essentially, it's a battle between their playoff push that they're going through right now and their long-term considerations for their rebuild gaining chips. And you have to understand that you have to look at it this way. The Montreal Canadiens can very well get a lot more than you think for Jake Evans. I'm telling you, he's a center. He's a good center. He can play on a good team, probably on a third line. I'm telling you right now, he can get a lot more than you think on the deadline. I wouldn't even doubt the Montreal Canadiens can get a first-round pick. I know it's going to surprise a lot of people. This is how many teams desperately need centers. Now, if they did move him, they would gain a little bit more financial flexibility, but again, he's only getting paid 1.7. It all depends on whether Montreal actually wants to pay him, because remember, he's definitely going to go to unrestricted free agency because he's going to have so much of the power in his hand, right? Now, Pierre LeBrun did specifically mention the New Jersey Devils, of course. They have a pretty good center 1-2 punch right now. When you have Heischer, when you have Hughes, that is a 1-2 punch. I mean, come on. They're just really good, right? I mean, you got Sheldon Keefe there. I mean, the New Jersey Devils are just a straight-up good team. Now, unfortunately for the New Jersey Devils, you could argue that their third line position has been a little bit inconsistent, and if you were able to cure that position going into the playoffs, that would be massive for the New Jersey Devils. Now, obviously, Erik Haula's ankle injury, I believe he has an ankle injury, does further complicate this issue, right, with their depth, so this is another reason why they might actually be going after Jake Evans, for example. I think Jake Evans' versatility would complement the Devils' system very well. And again, as we know, depth down the middle is the number one thing that you need in the playoffs. I mean, God forbid if New Jersey got one of their players injured, I mean, that they'd be held to pay, right? Now, here's the thing. When we talk about potential return for the Canadiens, there's a couple of things. So if you look at Puckpedia, I'm going to put the information up on the screen for you guys so you're fully informed here. The Devils don't have a 2025 first round selection, but they do have 3 seconds, and they have a 2026 first and a 2027 first as well. So they're in a pretty good position in terms of draft picks. The Canadiens could absolutely purge those draft picks, no doubt about it. In my opinion, I would be hunting for the 2026 first round pick, albeit the New Jersey Devils are more than likely going to want that pick to be protected. I would try, if I was the Montreal Canadiens, that is, I would try to make that pick as unprotected as possible, right? Because you want that to be unprotected, so if New Jersey just has a fluke bad season, you're going to have like a really, really good selection, right? Now, from the New Jersey Devils side, I would want it to be protected, at the very least a top 10 protected first round selection. This could very well benefit both teams, but it could actually be a negative for the Montreal Canadiens. I'm going to reiterate this again. The Montreal Canadiens are legitimately in a playoff push. I am an advocate for teams going for it. I love when teams compete. I hate it. I hate this. Oh, just tank. Hell no, man. Get out there. Wouldn't you love to see Montreal Canadiens make the playoffs? Like, come on. Like, I don't care if they play the Leafs and whatever. If they, I hope the Leafs win, but just get out there, man. I hate seeing teams with good fan bases just toil away in the bottom like they can't ever, get out there and compete. Why the hell not? Anyways, I'm going to close this video out now. I just wanted to touch on this NHL trade rumor by Pierre LeBrun. If you could make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, I would really greatly appreciate that, guys. And make sure to have a great day. Goodbye, guys.